What's going on, guys? Joey Bloom, MPFL Pro here. Today we're going to be learning how to tie the FG knot. So what I like to do with the FG knot, I normally use it on braid. Being in Florida, throw a lot of braid, frogs, swim jigs, flipping, and growing up with my dad, I've always used braid and we got bit, but there were certain lakes that were clear that we never really got a lot of bites doing. And I always thought there had to have been a better way. And my buddy ended up telling me, man, you need to learn how to tie the FG knot. And it's been super, super huge to a lot of my success this season in the MPFL. So today we're going to learn how to do it. So what I like to do is when you're in your boat, it's kind of hard to tie on this knot because, you have no room really. You can't put your rod here. You can't put it there. You got rods all over the deck, so it's very difficult to figure out the right position on it. So what I like to do is I lift this cleat up. I lay my rod across like this, and I shove my rod in between the cleat and the boat. And I really like to keep the main thing is you want to keep that tension on the line the whole time. So, I'll reel up a little bit of slack, and what I do is I take my braid, I put it in my mouth, but you always want to make sure if you're throwing braid, depending on what you're throwing, if you're throwing 40-pound braid, I like to use 20 to 25-pound fluorocarbon, depending on what I'm doing. Obviously I'm not going to tie this on a frog or anything like that, but I tie it on my jigs. I tie it on my swim jigs. I flip with it, and it's a super strong knot and can be used and utilized really, really well while you're fishing. So what I do is I take the braid, and I put the braid in my mouth, and you want to take this line, your fluorocarbon, and I lay it over like a T, just like that. And you want to give yourself like a good 7 or 8 inches. And you want to make sure that you pinch the line so that it's like a T. So you want to make sure you're always holding this pinch. So now, to get the knot started, you take your tag end and you go under the braid on the front side and you pull it back. So now it's starting to wrap. Make sure you maintain that pinch. Back towards you. Under, back. There you go. That's 2. So now what I like to do is I like to do this 20 to 25 times. So, under, 3, over, 4, under, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Don't be afraid to move the tag end around, and you want to make sure the wraps are aligning each other. 13, 14, 15, 16. 17, 18, 19, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. So once you reach this point, you still have your pinch on it. You want to let go of the braid in your mouth, and you want to turn it. Just turn it. So now that the tag end and braid are parallel with each other, I take the tag end and I go over, almost like a D, and I do a half hitch around both the braid and the fluorocarbon. And this cinches your knot down. So now you can let go. Now you can let go of the tension. It's not going to slip. It's not going to do anything. Now we're not done here. So this is a super, super important part of this. So you want to take, now that you got your half hitch, you want to do the same thing, but instead of going over both, you want to go under both. So now we're under the braid and fluorocarbon, and we're on our next half hitch. Boom. Now you got that cinched down. So most people, you can do this. You can stop here if you want. I don't like to do that just because I fear that, what if it slips? What if something happens? So I do what they call a locked FG knot. So now you can forget about your tag end, your fluorocarbon tag end. Now we're on the straight braid. So I do 1/2 inch over just the braid. Cinch it down. Now I do a little uni around it. So I do three little, just straight around the braid. 1, 2, 3. Grab that, cinch it down. Now I do, just for safe measures, I do one more. Just one more 1/2 inch. And that's it. So now what you want to do, your knot should look like this now. You got, your 2 tag ends. Everything's wrapped super neat. What I do is I wet it a little bit. I wrap it around both my hands and I pull. And I make sure that it's super tight. You want to grab all the tag ends, grab this, cinch this down, cinch the fluorocarbon down, grab it again, and pull. So now your knot should look like this. Super tight, super clean, should go through your guides. So now when you cut the tag ends, I like to take a little bit off of the tag end, not a lot, just a little bit, just like that. I leave a little bit of the braid tag end. So just in case when you hook a fish or, you're pulling on a tree or you get hung up or something, this knot will continue to cinch into your fluorocarbon. So you want to leave just a little tiny bit of tag end because once it cinches to a point, it will actually stop. But if you cut too short, it could slip through. So you just don't want to risk that. So what I do with the fluorocarbon tag end is I take it and I get it kind of short. This one's kind of short because you got to remember we've already wrapped the braid so many times over on the actual main line. So now you got that and your knot is completed. And this is what it should look like at the end. Effective knot. I've used it throughout my whole NPFL season and not a lot of failures with it. Super strong, super reliable, and I hope you guys use this in your next fishing adventure. Thank you so much.
Yeah, it's cool.